Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the new normal. Tonight we're about 48 hours removed from an excellent NXT Takeover 31. I've had some time to actually sit down and watch it, so that's always good, and we're going to talk about that. At the same time, we're going to have a match for 5-star wrestling with Hugo Hughes facing off against Scotty Lassiter. We'll spend a little less time doing commentary for that. You can watch what's going on. And we're just going to talk about Takeover. A lot of people say that, all the takeovers have been spectacular. I've found some low points in some of them. This one was not one. This was a good show. I enjoyed it thoroughly. That doesn't mean there's not going to be some nitpicks. I love to bitch, and you're going to get a little bit of that tonight. But on the whole, a good show. We started out, we had the promo for the Capitol Wrestling Center. I don't know how many times I've said, many people have said, there's nobody, out of all of the wrestling companies that are around right now, there is nobody that can put together a slick promo, get your heart pumping, get you feeling excited about the event. They actually make you feel something about the sport. Nobody has been able to do that better. Just kind of a shame they can't seem to capture that in some of their wrestling, but it is what it is. We start out with Vic Joseph bringing us in. He announces the other commentary members who's going to be there. They'll be there in voice, if not body, I guess due to the COVID and whatnot. I don't know if they're actually in the building or if they're doing it from home. It sounded too good to be a home setup, but they had a couple of people sitting with Vic at ringside. I think one of them was Casey Lennox, and I'm not sure who the other dude was, but we did get the voices of Stu Bennett, Wade Barrett, and Beth Phoenix sounding great as always on the microphone. Great team to have together, and it's great to hear Wade Barrett making his return. Not to wrestling, but to commentary. He's got a good sound to him. Just a side note, if you've watched that the event or you felt like going back to it, when Vic Joseph is finished and he's just, okay, let's get the show started, and the camera pulled away from him, did you take a good look at his face? Because that was the stuff of nightmares. That was unblinking, frightful. Don't let your children see that. I'm not convinced the man's human anymore. But anyway, we've got 3 people at the table, whether they're talking or not. We get to the show. First matchup, we've got Damian Priest defending the North American Championship against Johnny Gargano. If you want a match that's going to, open the show and really get people into it, that is the one to do it. And I think they did a pretty decent job of it. I've heard Jim, I don't want to quote Jim Cornette too often, but I've heard him refer to Gargano as Johnny No Faith. And this is the kind of match, it's just easy to see why. Now that he's doing the heel thing, it's not too bad. It fits that persona. What is it? All heart, no soul. You can certainly see, we know Johnny, he puts his heart into it every night, but you see his facials, and that man's soul is, I don't know where it is. Maybe the soul went to the main roster and the heart stayed on NXT, because they're just not in the same body right now. But they set a fast pace from the get-go. That's what you want in a match like this. I'm a huge fan of Damian Priest. In spite of him doing that annoying thing where the opponent ducks a clothesline and he goes swinging with it, he's really high. Both of these guys are pros. They've been doing it, it doesn't need to happen. And it's very jarring. Gargano has a really nice spot to get Priest pulled out of the ring. It was fun to watch, and then follows it up with a technically perfect dive. Again, perfect in execution, not nearly enough emotion for me to care about it as much as I should. They looked awkward at times because of the size disadvantage of Gargano, and Priest is just towering. But they're both talented enough to pull it off. I want to talk about Damian Priest's finish, the Razor's Edge. I don't even want to talk. I just want to point out how awesome it is to have a move that there are so many ways to counter. That's what's going to really make him fun to watch when he goes main roster, as his career continues. You can counter it in so many ways, and I think it's going to be awesome to see where he ends up. What else did he do? Oh, there was a move. He did the Razor's Edge actually from the outside into the ring. So Johnny basically fell, I don't know, maybe 3 feet. It didn't look like it had much impact. It was cool, I guess, but you really notice things like that. With the height difference that these guys got, you got to hit these moves from ground level. He hit a choke slam on Johnny, and with his height, it was a thing of beauty. Just absolutely gorgeous to watch. They did a spot to the outside. Priest hit 2, in quote, security guys. So the only 2 guys in the building, not behind plexiglass. Well, maybe the cameraman too, I suppose. But Priest manages to torpedo both of them. I get why you want it. It leads to, a distraction, low blow, cover attempt. But, it didn't lead to the actual finish. We really didn't need it. And in this environment, it kind of came off phony looking. I think maybe if they had the camera guy take the bump and forget about security guys, it would have maybe looked a little more realistic. Nice spot at the end. Priest hits the Reckoning, gets the win clean. We're looking forward to seeing a lot. He's heading to main roster pretty soon. I hope he does well there. He really, really has just done so much that's been fun to watch. It's hard to put anything wrong with this match. Both guys did what they were supposed to do. I would chalk up to the lack of fans is why they couldn't get the emotion in, but we see Candace LeRae do exactly that later. So, I don't know. I think he's never going to main roster. He's staying on NXT for the rest of his WWE career, doing what he's doing. I think he's going to do decent stuff there. The heel Gargano is just a born champ at some point. But, yeah, he's not really going anywhere. And Priest, I'm afraid he may get there too quickly. But we'll find out. So, that was how the show opened. Next up, we had Kushida versus the Velveteen Dream. We get a promo leading up to this. Now, NXT has a promo before every one of their matches to remind everyone of the build-up. I love that. We get a reminder, though, of how important it is that NXT always gets the best international talents. I just don't think they really know what to do with them after they get them. But anyway, we make Kushida look like a bit of a sympathetic character with the promo. We definitely need Velveteen to be the heel right now. There's no other real role for him with the company. I'm honestly surprised he's still there with, everything that's been going on. The Dream comes in dressed. I love his entrances. That's the best thing about Dream, I think, are the entrance. Playing off the Marty McFly, he's dressed as Doc Brown. Looks good, as always. He's in phenomenal shape. Nobody makes a better entrance than him. So just a little quibble, though. I thought both guys had to be inside the ring before the match started. But they ring the bell while Dream's still outside, so maybe NXT has different rules. You see Kushida, he's really trying, in his own style. He's got the strong style, Japanese style, focusing on the body part. Goes for the arm bar like 6, 7, 8 times. It works in Japan. I don't think that particular style is going to do him much good in the WWE, especially if he does manage to get main roster. But he'll be fun to watch as long as he's on NXT. Dream, for the most part, overacting like usual, and in my opinion, kind of underperforming. Moving slower than usual. Throwing the worst looking punches I think I've ever seen out of him. Just these looping, slow... maybe he knows or thinks he's on his way out. He's just trying not to get hurt in the time he's got left. He still drops one of the safest, best-looking elbows in the business. I loved watching that. Adding the Bronco Buster was, I guess. He knows the world's booing him, and he's encouraging it. That's a heel. We got a little bit of stiffness at the midpoint of the match. A couple of the guys both guys hit a couple of hard shots to the face. Kushida did a cartwheel into a drop kick while Dream's in the seated position, connected right square to his face. And then Dream hits a super kick a few minutes later. Looked like that might have been the receipt for that. Other than that, a lot of theatrics by Dream, a lot of arm holds by Kushida. We get a reverse into an armbar, and then up on the top rope, he turns it into a hoverboard lock. It's not a bad sequence by any means. Not a bad match either. Just maybe not one of Dream's best, and I don't think it's... I mean, it's not going to put Kushida on a main roster radar, but it definitely could. It's going to help him. He's going to be going through the cruiserweight title soon, I'm sure, and this is a good stepping stone to get him there. I guess the whole babyface Kushida thing wasn't working for them, though. He laid a beating on the Dream after the match, which generally isn't something you want as your babyface, but I guess, yeah, we'll see what they do with it. I guess it was a heel turn, but with everybody hating Dream so much, maybe it wasn't. Anyway, decent match. Just not sure if the ending of it really did what it was expected to do, but decent overall. What do we got next? Oh, the Cruiserweight Championship. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Santos Escobar. Now, I love Escobar as a heel champion. I'm not going to lie. I love it. He looks the part. He can talk. He dresses well. Looks like, he is the show. He runs the cartel. This is a performer. I love it. He's the kind of guy you can build like an underdog against really well. I love this so much more than when he was in Lucha Underground doing that King Cuerno thing. I thought he was the dullest character on that show. This is, what I really am liking. I don't know a ton about Isaiah Scott in terms of what else he's done. I know he was also in Lucha Underground. He was doing the kill shot thing under the mask. But he really impresses me, here. He's got the look. He seems like when we get crowds back, he's going to be able to work them up, which is nice. We start the match out. We got the usual lucha-style stuff. One of the spots I'm usually a sucker for is, and you see it a lot, even more now, you got the two guys. They have this nice sequence. It doesn't look too choreographed, and ends with them standing and facing off. And when you do it right, it shows this equality and sometimes respect and whatever. But when they tried it, they struck this weird-ass pose. I hated that. It wasn't even that good of a sequence to, get in that position, and it ends with them, practically, within kissing range of each other. You could follow that up very easily, and neither one did. The usual, same complaint I had about Lucha Underground. You get guys standing outside waiting for a dive way too long. The Flyers are doing that. And, I mean, I would get it if it was a safety thing, but when I look at the injuries and stuff that, all these companies are having, I don't think they're doing it if they're doing it for safety, they're messing it up. It is not working. The difference is it just looks like shit. But other than that, at one point we had the exact same dive against the fence that we saw in the Gargano Priest match. Some great athletics, but again, sometimes you just don't have the emotion in with that kind of stuff. Side note again, racial, I don't know. Does every Latino superstar use the Three Amigos now? Every time I'm seeing it, we got to have an homage to Eddie, which, hey, I have no issue with, because Eddie was awesome, loved the man to death, but it just seems like every time I see a Latin American superstar, we are getting that Three Amigos or the Frog Splash or one of them. See, we had the reactions from both guys. I made a note of that in particular when you have your big move kicked out of, and they're just, oh my God, they look like they've seen a ghost. I think both of these guys kind of overdid that a little bit, but again, that's nitpicky. The piped-in sound felt it was worthy enough that it got a "This is awesome" chant, so that's cool. So for the end of that, we got Swerve plays up being concussed by the head bump. Didn't really look like he made the contact, but what are you gonna do? It was still a good way to finish without taking your heat off the main baby that you got in the match. It wasn't the best looking piece of business. It told the story, and the match itself was solid. So far, it's the best match of the night. I hadn't seen the main event for probably a day and a half after I saw this. So this was for me, this was the match of the night for a couple of days. Candace Larae versus Yo Shirai. Great build-up promo for Candace. This girl can talk. Her facial expressions were some of the best on the show tonight. by exposing all the heel things that were done to her that led up to her own heel turn. She really comes off as less of a traditional dirty heel and more of like a kind of a woke up to reality heel. She's accepted what she has to do the Gargano way. I really enjoyed watching her in the match too. She never looked like she was out of character at all. Shirai obviously has all the talent in the world, but I'll see if I can word this right. I'm feeling like a lot of the Japanese female talent are coming off as invincible. Like they did it with Asuka, it went over okay, because of her, reputation in other, territories and whatnot, and okay. I don't think I like it as much with Io. When she showcases her talent, it's awesome. When she showcases superpowers, maybe not so much. And another side note, why do they always mouth along when their names are spoken? Asuka did that too. You have the person with the microphone saying their name and they're just lip syncing along with it when they hold up the belt. Whatever. Kairi did it too, actually. But anyway, good start to the match. Larae was getting the worst of it early. Great reactions to it. I love how crisp and quick Io is with her moves, whether it's that moonsault or, she takes the monkey flip and reverses it into a flip of Rones, lands on her feet. Just looks so sharp, so quick, so good. Larae almost seemed like she was wrestling a bit tentative. It shows more when you're going in there with someone who's fast and pedal to the metal as Io is doing. I enjoyed the match a lot, except for maybe a couple of little things. Let's see. I will start with the powerbomb. For how long has the powerbomb? It's been, if not a finish, but just a massive, massive move over the years. And in this match, we got them in. The girls are in the corner. Larae catches Shirai, walks her out, carries her, and just drops her powerbomb full force. Io gets right back to her feet and runs at her, throws the double knee, the Meteora, like she never felt a thing, and it just completely no selling. I don't like it when the guys do that. But for the girls, it was just ridiculous to me. That pulled me right out of the match. It just took a turn after that for me. Same later on. There's some Gargano interference. Shirai gets the women's title belt straight across the face. Hit her as flush as you can see. Gets covered right away. The referee is right there in position instantly. There's no delay, no recovery time. And Io kicks out. To me, again, that is your heel finish. You get hit with, okay, so the guy's belt, 10 pounds? The girls probably, it's a bit small, but I don't know, 6, 7 pounds, something like that, of metal. And you're taking it straight across the... I just feel that should end a match. 1, 2, 3, the heel wins. Dirty, dastardly tactic. I did not like that kick out at all. The interference from Gargano, done very entertainingly. I loved how he came in, and they foiled his plan. Great match overall. Shirai obviously takes the win, and we get on screen the return of Toni Storm. I didn't get to see a whole lot of Toni, but I do remember she was pretty over. Everyone was talking about her when she was around before, and then she left, and I guess she was gone for a while. I'm not sure if it was an injury or something to do with not being able to get across the floor. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it that much. I just know she's been gone. And she's back. Awesome. We see her up there. It would have been a great pop if we, had people there. And then 40 seconds later, we cut to someone on a bike or a motorcycle riding to the performance center, Capitol Wrestling Center. They get off, they walk in, they unveil, and it's Ember Moon. I love Ember. It's great that she's back. That's awesome. A lot of us figured she would be, and we've been looking forward to it. Great. Why do you have to completely kick Tony's return heat out of the way to do it? In what world is that right? Come on. There was no reason that Ember's return could not have been done on the next show when Tony and Shirai are staring each other down. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like Tony got a little bit hosed on that one. But it's going to lead up to some good matches, probably a triple threat for the title soon. We'll see how that all goes. I felt bad for Tony. Next up, we get a promo for Ashanti something or other. I guess he helped out Isaiah Swerve Scott in the match earlier. I don't know who Ashanti is. I have not seen him before. I don't know him at all. Just another rich swag gimmick. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on him. Impress me on the show. That's what I'll see. Alright, and now we have the main event. We have Kyle O'Reilly getting his biggest NXT, possibly biggest opportunity in wrestling of his entire career. And I love Kyle, love watching him. He's been limited to tags up until now, but he really is the all-around package. Just like Balor, just like Cole, Fish, all these guys, they came up as workhorses, paid their dues. We're expecting something really special here. Kyle definitely looked a little nervous with the whole thing. Can't blame him, but honestly, that was just, that's how he felt. That is raw, real emotion. He is thrilled to death to be where he is, and this was just a great moment for him. Honestly, if he had come out, if they had real people there, I keep mentioning that, but instead of those piped-in video game cheers, I think he would have torn the roof off the place. Everybody would have been behind him in the match. We hear these guys, they have these matches in Japan, not those two specifically, but they're just what wrestling was all about. And this has the potential to rank up with any of those matches that we've seen in New Japan. So I was really looking forward to this. It was a while before I got a chance to see it, but finally did. Great sequence of wrestling to start them off. They do that thing I mentioned. They both get up, face off afterward. And you know what? It works because what they just did was believable. And it looked skillful from a wrestling standpoint. We get a lot of lockups. We got joint manipulation. A couple of, some stiff shots in spots. O'Reilly may have lost some teeth. I think Finn might have broken his jaw. They were doing a sequence to reverse into a final cut DDT, and in the middle of that, Balor kind of pulled his fist backwards against O'Reilly's mouth, and instantly his mouth was just full of blood, and definitely did some damage there. I'm sure we'll hear more about that on social media soon, probably by the time you're hearing this. So anyway, match looked good. Kyle's working the knee of Balor. Balor worked the midsection for the match. Some great moves. We almost get a heel spot by Balor. One of those spots, the Bret Hart Diesel finish, where O'Reilly's about to kick him square in the face, and Balor just kind of stumbles and goes to his knees. O'Reilly hesitates. Balor takes advantage with a couple of double stomps from the midsection that they're already playing it as being so damaged. So that was some good storytelling there. Balor takes an absolutely one of the stiffest knees I've ever seen. If it didn't break his jaw, it was definitely dislocated. So they finish up quick after that. They go home with the coup de grace. He's definitely bleeding a lot from the mouth at that point. A lot of pain. But they managed to do a great finish. Balor picked up O'Reilly. They did the handshake, sign of respect. A little harkening back to their Bullet Club days. Good finish. I love the big show of respect. And then we see, who is this guy? Ridge Holland? Another fella I'm not too familiar with, or familiar with at all, to be honest. But he came out. He's got an unconscious Adam Cole over his shoulder, dumps him at ringside and leaves. So I guess we'll see what that's all building to next week. Something to look forward to. So overall, this was definitely a good show. I won't call it their best takeover yet, but it's far from the worst. Everyone who was in their matches did their best. I had a few, like I say, little nitpicks. Particular, the Dream is bugging me right now. I think the Dream is bugging a lot of people right now. So what's going to happen to him in the future? We'll find out. But yeah, so that's about all I have to say about that particular event. I'm really enjoying getting back into wrestling. I was away for quite a while. That's how I don't know a couple of these guys and what's been happening. Ever since COVID hit, with the fans being gone, it just pulls me out when it was just quiet. And having some other wrestlers, banging on plexiglass and yelling, that doesn't do it for me. What has done it for me, amazingly enough, is this Thunderdome. The sound might be fake, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it's from one of the 2K video games that it's being piped in, but one of the older ones. But having that there, I'm able to suspend my disbelief. I'm able to feel like there's a crowd, even if there's not. Sometimes the "this is awesome" crap gets a little bit too much. It's very unorganic, but for now, to allow me to get in, to feel like there's a crowd, to feel like there's an emotion, there's a reaction, there's other people that like me, that love the sport, that are into this. If it's just a bunch of faces on LED screens, I can live with that. This has not been too bad for me. So now I'm back into it. I'm able to watch shows. I caught Night of Champions a couple of weeks ago. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I didn't do a review of it, but this was the first one I've done since returning as a fan. So I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to finish up this match here. I really actually would have liked to have done commentary for this match. If you've been watching this, this has been a solid back and forth between Hugo Hughes and Scotty Lassiter. Make no mistake, it's not for anything. There was really nothing, but it was a 30-minute, Iron Man match. Wow, it's amazing. I can recall everything from the pay-per-view the other night, but I can't remember the match I did approximately 10 minutes ago. But here we see Scotty, as usual, trying to play his dominant role. Hugo definitely keeping pace, though. There was a couple of times where it looked like Hugo was going to take the lead in it, and he very easily could. He is definitely a talented superstar, one of the many they have in the 5-Star Wrestling League, of which Scotty Lassiter is currently the champion. We'll have another match versus triple threat, I believe, with Nicholas. I really have to figure out this dude's last name. I was calling him Nicholas Logan. That's what his character name is, but I know he has a real name. I'd like to use it, show a little bit of respect. And we got Nick McNamara. And he's going to be the third man in that particular match for the heavyweight champion of 5-Star. So stay tuned for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We'll probably have that posted up in the next few days, I hope. And we'll do a commentary for that as well. 2 minutes left in this Iron Man match. As good as both were, I think the winner here may be... Well, no, there's still time. There's definitely still time for either one of these guys. Scotty, he has blown way easier matches than this. Believe me. And Hugo can certainly turn around and hit a finish, get the pin, hit a finish, get a pin. It's certainly not impossible. There is enough time left, but every tick of that clock makes it less and less likely. Seen Scotty going out there a couple of times. He wanted to do a table spot. Oh, but now we see Hugo. It looks like Scotty's going to get his wish for the table spot because Hugo's about to dump him right outside on it. Didn't get it all the way, but definitely looked good. Was enough to break that table. Scotty hit his legs against it. Just over a minute left. back into the ring. What's Scotty going to do? Oh, he hits him with his finish. Hits him with his finish. Is that going to seal this? Oh, nice kick out by Hugo. If you were watching this match, we definitely saw a lot of that. Hugo kicked out of a few things I didn't expect him to. Scotty not wanting to just drain the clock, though. He wanted to give, I think, Hugo a chance to hit him with a few more things if he could. Now maybe stalling a little bit. Hugo trying for a desperation signature. Did not work. Scotty reversed that. Drops him with a shoulder breaker. We've got just over 20 seconds left to go. Right now, Scotty's just, what's he going to do to play with him? He's going to wallop him with that kendo one last time. Or is he going to go for a submit? We have 10 seconds left in the match. Scotty going with the kendo OMG submission. Hugo staying away from it. Looks like he's going to kick out unless Scotty can just get back. Oh, and right at the bell, Scotty gets the tap out. So I guess the final score is 7-4. I'd like to call it 6-4 because, yeah, I don't know if he tapped out right before that bell or not. I don't know if that counted. And we never get to see at the end of these Iron matches whether, who had the score. But what is clear is that Scotty Lassiter has once again proven himself, as he always says, better than you. From all of us here at the New Normal, thank you so much for joining us. It was a blast. We will see you again for more great wrestling, more commentary, more reviews. You name it, we're going to try to do it. So you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time. See ya.